Imagine having no Ballon d'Or contenders, no Champions League trophies, half the squad is injured. But they did something incredible. They just knocked out Real Madrid and are into the semifinals of the Champions League. How is that even possible? People weren't really looking at that team called Arsenal. How have they done it? But this isn't luck. This was total dominance. And to be honest with y'all, Arsenal might be the most complete team in Europe right now. And nobody seems to talk about it. Guys, please check the Ballon d'Or rankings. You won't find a single Arsenal players in the top 3. You won't. If you found one, drop the link. Let me see. But I won't believe it. I don't believe it. No. But just let me know if you found one. But if you look at the Ballon d'Or rankings, you won't find a single Arsenal player. So that's what makes them dangerous, what makes them special. Because you don't expect it from them. They don't have superstars Barcelona has or Real Madrid has. This is powerful. They don't rely on individuals. They rely on a system, being a team. And you know what's the biggest example? Bukayo Saka gets injured and they play the exact same way with or without him. They don't care because their system is so strong, and we should give the credits to their coach Mikel Arteta because he has built a system that's so strong that even although their strikers are injured, half their team is injured. Bukayo Saka was injured, but they still kept performing, they still kept winning, they still kept playing, and Bukayo Saka came back and they just managed to win. Because to be honest, yes, of course, you could tell me right now that he played and he played his part, especially in the second leg, because in the first leg it was Declan Rice and Merino. But the thing is, the first leg shows exactly what I'm about to say, is that he didn't play at his best level, at his top level, because he just came back from an injury. So he needed some play time. But the thing is, they really needed him to play. So they basically forced him into the team, forced him to play. And of course, forces, you shouldn't take that literally, but you get what I mean. But that proved that especially in the first game, but also the second leg, the return in Bernabeu against Real Madrid, they showed that they are dangerous as a team, as a whole, as a system. Let's talk about their coach, Mikel Arteta, because he underwent a revolution basically, because he once was, and maybe you don't know it yet, but he once was Pep Guardiola's his assistant. And now he is responsible for Arsenal being in the semifinals of the Champions League. He is their head coach and he's doing quite well. They perform well. Quite impressive because Mikel Arteta is building his own empire. Of course, he once was in the shadows of Pep Guardiola, and you can literally see the Pep DNA. And that's quite interesting, he told in an interview that after reaching the semifinals, knocking out Real Madrid, he had contact with Pep Guardiola, saying that he will be grateful, Arteta to Guardiola, he will forever be grateful for everything that Guardiola has done for Mikel Arteta. And that's beautiful. That's just, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you, that's beautiful. About the Pep DNA, inverted backs, positional play, overloads, the way they press, he learned a lot. Pep Guardiola taught him a lot. But the thing is, we shouldn't talk about Guardiola too much because, yes, he's a top manager, he's world class, he's proven himself, but Arteta is proving himself right now, and he should get the credits. He should get them because he deserves it, and he turned Arsenal into a machine. Because to be honest, and maybe you don't know this, but the thing is, Arsenal has the best defense in Europe right now. So that's why I just said something bold, is that Arsenal is the most complete team in Europe right now, but we don't talk about them that often because they've proven that they can attack, they can defend, they can do anything they want. Because we've seen Barcelona is really strong in attacking, and attacking wins you games, but defending as well. Of course, Barcelona can defend as well, and Barcelona might be the best team in Europe right now. But Arsenal is the most complete team in Europe right now, and they are a bit underrated. So it's quite a good thing that they just reached the semifinals, because they are impressing the world of football. And I was impressed as well. I was impressed. I was shocked. I was surprised, because I didn't consider Arsenal. I was even looking at Bayern Munich and Inter Milan, but Arsenal, I didn't expect Real Madrid to get beaten, not only get knocked out by Arsenal, but just get beaten, like humiliated. They got a beat down. But yeah, Arsenal is impressing the world of football, and it's dope. Actually, it's dope. Even me as a Real Madrid fan, I gotta admit, they are really strong. Defensively, really strong. They are a system, and they have a really good coach as well. Good players, Saliba, Declan Rice, Ødegaard. They are really focused. Not even star players, but superstars, but quality players. Bukayo Saka, of course, but also Jurrien Timber. They have great players. They have great players. Oh, and also a good thing we should notice is that not all the players are bought, because there are a lot of players that are young, that are developing. So they are not just bought, they are built, and they are being young players who are coming up. And if you take a closer look at Arsenal, you can come to the conclusion that they are working on a project right here, on a project with systems. So I can only respect it. Let's talk a bit more about mentality, because big clubs usually mean big egos. They have superstars. They have, for example, PSG. PSG was the biggest example around, or the biggest example you could mention, you could imagine, because they had egos everywhere, especially in their attack. You know, I'm talking about Messi, I'm talking about Neymar and Mbappe. It didn't work. But regarding Arsenal, when you look at Arsenal, that's not the case at all. Not there. Every player runs, they play for the team, every player fights. Like I said, I was watching them against Real Madrid, and I thought, damn, they don't give away space. They didn't give away anything. So, and you didn't see them clash with each other. They played as a team. If you look at Ødegaard, if you look at Declan Rice, at Saliba, who made a mistake though, but they were solid as a team, solid as individuals. But like I said, they were leaders without any drama, without big egos. So like I said, that's their system. That's a team. So if you compare Arsenal with Real Madrid had the stars. The Real Madrid had all the superstars, the experience, especially the experience. That one is really important, because if you play the Champions League, you always see the difference between teams that have a lot of experience in the Champions League and teams that don't. You see the difference. You can tell. You see the legacy. But Arsenal, and that's why I got surprised. I was surprised, because Arsenal isn't that experienced in the Champions League. Isn't that experienced because they've never won the Champions League before. But they had a plan, and their execution was almost perfect. If you look at their tactics, they outplayed Real Madrid. If you look at their discipline, outplayed Real Madrid. At their press, their pressing, outplayed Real Madrid. At their effectiveness, goal scoring, they outplayed Real Madrid. It wasn't an accident. No luck involved. It was dominance. It was Real Madrid that has been outplayed by Arsenal. That's the difference. And of course, let's talk about the prizes, because we're talking about Arsenal, and Arsenal gets mocked every time. So send this video to an Arsenal fan or a hater. You will understand why I'm telling you this. But for me, I was surprised, because usually Arsenal is known for their mentality or lack of mentality, because they never win prizes. They never win them. So you just don't consider them if you're talking about potential Champions League winners. But now that they are in the semifinals, yeah, we're basically forced to do it. So maybe they won't win the Champions League this year. Maybe they won't win the league. They are not going to win the Premier League. Liverpool's gonna do it. Still, you could come to the conclusion that they are building something. They're onto something, because I don't expect this to collapse next season. That's impossible. You're telling me, you cannot tell me, I won't even believe you if you're telling me this. You can't tell me that Mikel Arteta is onto something big. He's building something for years now, and that is something that is sustainable and that stays for a couple of seasons. And it's starting to pay off, because usually if you invest in something, it could take time before it starts paying off, and that's exactly what Arsenal's showing right now. And I think it's interesting to follow. I do think so, because I'm not an Arsenal fan at all. No, not at all. But the Champions League is the biggest stage, and if you show it right there, if you prove it, if you shock and stun the world of football, then we're basically forced to pay attention. It's undeniable. It's what it is, and it's a challenge. I'm really looking forward to seeing Arsenal play the semi-finals, and I'm curious: are they going to reach the finals for the first time ever in their history? Correct me if I'm wrong, but let me tell you this: Arsenal is proof that you don't need superstars, you don't need egos, big names, big egos. You just need vision. You need a clear system. You need to fight for each other. You need to be disciplined. And Arteta must say this in the dressing room. I hope so. I hope that I'm right. They just need the guts to do it and stick with it. Damn, Arsenal.